Have you ever felt like you carry a force too intense to understand? Something so deep, so magnetic, that it scares even you? Maybe this isn't just a characteristic of your sign. Perhaps you are dealing with the most dangerous Scorpio energy in the zodiac. And today we're going to reveal what Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, dared to say about this, and which was kept silent for decades. Scorpio is not just a sign. It is a spiritual seal, a deep transformation code, a frequency so powerful that when misunderstood, it can devastate, but when activated with awareness, it can change destinies. Cayce did not speak of ordinary astrology. He saw beyond the veil, and in their visions, Scorpio appeared as a hidden agent of change, carrying a mystical power that not everyone is prepared to tap. Why do Scorpios feel so much, suffer so much, and still be reborn? Why does this energy carry a mixture of pain, magnetism, intuition, and a type of spiritual protection that seems to come from another dimension? According to Cayce, it is no coincidence. Scorpio is the only sign that delves into the darkness to bring buried truths to the surface, truths that many prefer to ignore. This energy is dangerous, not because it destroys, but because it awakens. Awaken what is dormant, hidden, repressed. And if you've ever felt like there's something in you that goes beyond the ordinary, something that isolates you, but also connects you to the invisible, then perhaps this message was made exactly for you. Stay with me, because in the next revelation, this will all make sense. If while listening to these words something inside you stirred, as if you were being reminded of something you already knew but had forgotten, then I want you to comment now. I carry that energy. Write this down here, not as a simple comment, but as a seal, a silent confirmation that you recognize the calling. Because this content didn't come to you by chance. There is a reason why you are still here, and this goes far beyond curiosity. What Edgar Cayce revealed about Scorpio can change the way you see your pain, your cycles, your losses, and your true spiritual role in this world. But to do that, you need to be present. You need to delve deeply. Nothing superficial will prepare you for what comes next. Therefore, leave your like now, not only to support this content, but so that YouTube understands that this type of message needs to reach more people who are also awakening. And subscribe to the channel, because this is just the first of many hidden revelations that we will bring about the signs, their missions, and the secrets that have been hidden for generations. This space is a portal, and each video a key, but awakening only happens when you decide to cross. Comment, like, subscribe, and prepare your spirit. Because the Scorpio energy that Cayce revealed is still alive, and it will show in the next words. Have you ever wondered why certain people just walk away from you even without a clear reason? Have you ever noticed how your presence sometimes carries a weight that seems to attract and repel at the same time? This is not your fault. This is a sign of an energy that few can sustain around. And if you feel that in ordinary environments you squeeze yourself to fit in, as if you need to reduce your intensity to be accepted, perhaps the explanation lies not only in your personality, but in the spiritual essence that vibrates within you. Those who carry true Scorpio energy, even if they are not Scorpio in the solar chart, feel this strength as a kind of invisible armor, a mix of ancestral protection, deep magnetism, and a certain degree of emotional danger. People feel it, even without understanding it. That's why some people approach as if they were hypnotized, and then disappear as if they had seen something they weren't prepared to face. This intensity you feel, of seeing beyond words, of noticing lies in silence, of capturing the atmosphere of the environment without anyone saying anything, that's not in your head. This is spiritual sensitivity. It's part of the Scorpio code. According to Edgar Cayce, Scorpio did not just come to exist, came to dig up, to reveal what was hidden, to dissolve what no longer serves, even if it causes pain. And this mission is accompanied by a transformative energy that can both illuminate and consume. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you feel an inner alert, as if you sense betrayals, falls, cycles that will end? This sharp intuition is not paranoia. It is a connection with subtle planes. Scorpio feels what hasn't even happened yet. He prepares himself before the world falls apart, as if an internal radar guides him through the chaos. And that, for those who don't understand, seems like coldness or distrust. But what anyone who lives this knows, it is spiritual survival. Scorpio energy is made up of layers. She doesn't show herself right away. She tests, she watches. And for this reason, those who carry this vibration tend to experience intense, deep relationships, but also full of ruptures and new beginnings. It's as if the universe is always pushing this soul to start over stronger, more conscious, more awakened. Not surprisingly, Scorpio is the sign of death and rebirth, not a physical death, but one of ego, of illusions, of masks. Do you feel like you've ever had to cut ties even though you love them? Have you ever had to rebuild yourself in silence even when no one understood your pain? Have you forgiven in silence but never forgotten? This is not weakness. This is part of your evolutionary process. Scorpion energy carries this mission of digging deep, of looking where no one wants to look, of touching wounds to heal, but also to walk away when you realize your light is being drained. Cayce said that souls marked by Scorpio came with a special calling to guide humanity through darkness, not with sweet speeches, but with a firm presence. Truly, it cuts. With authenticity that deconstructs. It's no wonder that Scorpio is often misunderstood, judged, even feared. But this misunderstanding comes precisely from what he represents: a threat to lies, superficiality, and an inflated ego. You may have been accused of being cold, distant, hard to read, but inside you, there is a world boiling. You feel everything, but choose to show little. And this is energetic wisdom. Scorpio does not waste its strength. He channels. He calculates. He protects himself. But when he decides to trust, he delivers with absolute loyalty. And that's why betrayal for a Scorpio, or anyone who vibrates in this energy, is one of the deepest pains there is. Have you ever found yourself thinking, why does everything with me have to be so intense? Or, why do I feel so much, so fast, so deep? It's because your soul didn't come to live on the surface. You feel like you're different, and you are, and everything you experience is not punishment, it's training. Scorpio energy prepares strong souls for big missions, and that's why, almost always, they go through processes that few could endure. But this spiritual force that protects you also scares those who are not ready to walk alongside you. Your look speaks volumes, your silence is uncomfortable, your presence transforms, and every time you try to fit in, something inside you screams, because the truth is, you were not made to fit into small molds. If you've made it this far in this video and something inside you is vibrating, pulsing like you're finally being recognized, then I want you to prove it to me. Leave your comment below now, but not just any comment. Write, I am this energy. Or, if you want to seal this truth in the spiritual field, write strongly, I carry the Scorpio essence. Comment with truth. Comment with soul. Because maybe, just maybe, this video was made exactly for you. What if everything you've experienced up until now, every fall, every silence, every feeling of not belonging, is not a mistake or a chance, but rather part of a spiritual journey meticulously designed to transform you? What if what you call pain is, in fact, a sacred process of spiritual stoning, reserved only for those who have been marked with Scorpio energy? The truth is that whoever carries this energetic seal did not come into the world to have an ordinary life. There is something in their eyes that gives it away, a depth, a secret, a weight, as if his soul had lived much longer than this life, and in a way he really lived. Scorpio doesn't just carry memories, it carries spiritual memories, fragments of other existences, and with them, gifts that manifest themselves in intuitions, hunches, sensations that the rational mind cannot explain. How many times have you known something was going to happen before you even had signs? How many times has your body shivered at a lie that no one noticed? How many times have you felt like someone was thinking about you, and it was true? These are the echoes of Scorpio spiritual energy in action, an energy that goes beyond the magazine horoscope, that doesn't fit into ready-made sentences. Because Scorpio, according to Edgar Cayce, is the guardian of the veils between the worlds, and therefore, those who carry this spiritual vibration live between extremes, lives between light and shadow, and you learn, sooner or later, that there is no point in running away from your own calling. Because the more you try to fit into the shallow, the more your soul screams for depth. Your intuition pulls you. Your dreams reveal. Your connections challenge you. It's as if the universe constantly places living mirrors in front of you. People, situations, tests, everything so that you can access your true power. But this power has a price. It is not a gift without purpose. It only fully manifests itself when you accept that and is not here to please, but to transform. Who is not here to hide, but to confront. That your energy isn't for everyone, and that's okay, because she is not weak. It is not adaptable. It is ritualistic. It is sacred. And above all, it is dangerous for those who insist on living a lie. Edgar Cayce knew this. His revelations about Scorpio were not just astrological, they were spiritual. He claimed that this energy was a divine instrument of healing, but that it could also be an agent of destruction if it was denied, repressed, or poorly channeled. And that explains a lot of what you feel, because everything seems to be more intense. Why relationships are so loaded with meaning. Why do losses hit you so hard? It's because you feel what others just touch. You dive where others float. You are governed by a magnetism that connects you to everything that is hidden, deep, invisible. And maybe that's why you're here now. Because this message is not just a video. It's a mirror. It is a spiritual reminder, a whisper that comes from something greater saying, stop hiding from yourself. Recognize that your energy has a name. It has a function. It has a mission. And she is not silent, although you have learned to silence her. The world needs those who live truthfully. And your truth can, yes, hurt, but it can also liberate, to yourself and to others. So if all of this resonated within you, if some part of your soul felt a tremor, an awakening, a silent recognition, don't keep it to yourself. Let the universe know you listened, that you are here, that you accept. Comment now, I carry this energy. Or if you want to seal this moment as a ritual, write, my pain has a mission, or even, I am the Scorpio portal. Choose the phrase that most resonates with your soul and write with presence. Because this comment, more than engagement, is a spiritual activation, an energetic statement, and it will echo in the countryside. And then we come to a part that cannot be ignored. A part that, if you really feel this energy pulsating within you, will change everything you believe about your story, about your losses, about the hidden reasons behind the deepest pains you have ever faced. Because according to Edgar Cayce, and this he said with almost frightening clarity, those born under the influence of Scorpio, and even those with this energy activated in their birth chart, did not come to Earth for a light mission. They came to bring about collective transformations. But this mission comes with a price, and the price is high. Cayce saw Scorpio not just as a sign, but as a kind of spiritual guardian of the collective unconscious, someone who is born with the gift of touching what is hidden, of feeling what no one wants to feel, of carrying the burden of transformations that the world resists making. And that's not pretty in the first chapters of life. It's confusing, heavy, lonely, because before transforming others, Scorpio is forced to destroy and rebuild itself as many times as necessary. You may not have realized it, but if you look back, you will see how many versions of you have died. How many phases did you have to leave behind even if you didn't want to? How many times have you been ripped out of situations, relationships, paths, not by rational choice but by a movement of destiny that seemed to push you forward, as if the universe said, this no longer serves you, even if it hurts to let go. And that's exactly where the secret of the Scorpio soul lies, in the power to be reborn. But here's the most delicate and profound part of all this. Each rebirth costs something. It is not a symbolic exchange. It's not a cute metaphor. It costs friends. It costs stability. It costs identity. It costs love. It costs structure. Scorpio needs to die in life, not once but several times, to become what they came to be. And Cayce understood that. That's why he said that Scorpio is dangerous, but not because of the harm it can cause. It's dangerous because no one comes out the same after crossing an awakened Scorpio. This energy, when it is aligned with your spiritual mission, becomes a force that sweeps away everything that is false, everything that is superficial, everything that is masked. She sees where others pretend not to see. She confronts, denounces, reveals. And that bothers you. That's scary. because we live in a world that is afraid of the truth, who prefers comfortable illusion to necessary confrontation. And what does Scorpio do? Open wide, tear, illuminate what is hidden. And that's why it's so misunderstood. Have you ever felt uncomfortable just by existing? Have you ever had the feeling that your presence destabilizes environments? Have you ever noticed that people start to change after getting close to you? Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but they almost never stay the same? This is a clear sign of an Scorpion energy in action. It is not neutral. She is alchemical. Transform the field. Rearrange hadrons. And it demands responsibility from those who carry this seal. And yes, that often means living with a heavy heart. Because you feel more, you perceive more, and you almost never have anyone to share this weight with. But no, this is not punishment. It is part of the path of spiritual transformers. Cayce said that these souls were chosen to be reborn unto themselves until they are ready to awaken others. And this only happens after many silences, from many falls, of many internal mornings that no one saw but that you felt to the bone. If you feel like the world always seems to test you more than others, perhaps it's because you are being forged on a deeper level. It's not an exaggeration. It's not victimism. It's just that whoever carries this spiritual seal needs to go through darkness to be trustworthy in the light. And this light is not ordinary enlightenment. It is a light that is born from pain, that shines because it has already gone through the dark. And when Scorpio awakens, he becomes a channel, a lighthouse, a being that guides crowds just by being what he is. But this only happens when he stops fighting against his own essence, when he stops trying to be what others expect and starts accepting what his soul already knew from the beginning, that he was not born to be common, nor to hide. Cayce did not reveal these things as a warning of danger, but as a summons, a spiritual summons, a call for those who feel this force to finally recognize who they are. And if, up until now, you've been feeling like this video speaks directly to you, then it's time to seal that in the energetic field. Now comment below, every pain was a rebirth. Or if you prefer something more direct, write, my mission comes from pain. These phrases are not just comments. They are written rituals, signs to the universe that you are ready to embrace your true energy. Maybe you don't even know how to explain it clearly, but you feel it. You feel when you enter an environment and something is not right. The body shivers, the air feels heavy, the senses sharpen. Sometimes you even pretend that everything is normal, but inside you know that it isn't. You capture what the eyes don't see. You notice what others don't say. You feel beyond the veil, and this feeling is not light. It's deep, it's dense. It's the kind of spiritual sensitivity that isn't made for everyone, but you carry it. And this perception, this sensitive opening that is activated with repeated numbers, with vivid dreams, with omens that appear out of nowhere and are confirmed later, it is not a coincidence. These are secret codes of the Scorpio soul that are decoded as you accept who you really are. Because Scorpio, when I wake up, doesn't live in the world like most people do. He walks between two worlds. He observes the visible, but responds to the invisible. He speaks with human words, but his soul communicates with symbols, signs, sensations. Have you ever had that dream that was so real that you woke up with your heart racing, as if you had crossed over into another reality? Have you ever dreamed of someone, of places, of things that later manifested themselves exactly as they were seen? Or have you ever experienced moments when, for no reason at all, an internal voice told you, don't go, don't trust, pay attention, and when you listened, you were protected. When he ignored it, the loss came. This is also part of the gift and burden that accompanies this energy. The Scorpio gift of perception is like a spiritual radar, subtle, constant, sometimes silent, but never inactive. It works even when you want to turn it off, even when you try to live like others, ignoring their warnings, pretending you don't feel it. But the body feels it, the soul reacts, and sooner or later, you are pulled back into your truth, because you can't escape the soul when it was made to decode the hidden. And the most curious thing is that often those who have this gift live a large part of their lives thinking they are wrong. That feels too much. Who cares too much? Who suffers in anticipation? Who sees signs where there are none? But the truth is different. You are not feeling extra things. You are feeling what others ignore. And that is spiritual sensitivity in its raw state. It hasn't been tamed yet, but it is within you, like a primitive and ancient force waiting to be activated with consciousness. This sensitivity also brings a type of loneliness that few understand. Because how can you explain to someone that you felt the end of a cycle before it even began? How do you tell someone that a simple exchange of glances told you everything you needed to know about a person? How can you describe that moment when you connected with a greater force just because you heard a song, or passed by a specific place, or saw a sequence of numbers flashing on the clock? It does not give. It cannot be explained logically. Sit down, and those who don't feel, judge. And that's when true Scorpios, or those who carry this energy in their spirit, begin to close themselves off, shutting up, hiding what I see, to protect yourself. Because showing too much became a source of pain, but hiding too much became a cause for anxiety. You get caught between wanting to be true and the fear of not being understood. He is torn between the gift that pulses within him and the world that pushes him to be shallow. But no Scorpio soul was meant to surface. And the more you try to adapt to the superficial, the more your energy fragments, the more your gifts shut down, the more your light goes out. Scorpio did not come into the world to follow formulas, came to break them, to expose what is corrupt, to look in the dark and say, I see. And when this soul awakens, it no longer needs to pretend that it doesn't feel. She starts to trust her feelings. Start using your gift responsibly. Because you understand that each sign is a key. Every hunch is a guide. Every shiver is a warning. And at that moment, everything starts to change. Silence begins to have a voice. Dreams gain purpose. Numbers stop being random and become answers. Intuition, which was previously treated as exaggeration, becomes a compass. Sensitivity, which was once pain, becomes a weapon of light. But only when the soul stops running away and starts accepting, yes, I carry this gift. Yes, I feel more. Yes, I was made for this. And if up until now you are recognizing yourself in every word, perhaps it is time to seal this recognition in the energetic field. Write in the comments, I am the portal between the worlds. Or, if you feel, comment, my intuition is my guide. These words are not just letters. They are spiritual triggers, declarations of presence, confirmations that you are coming back to yourself, and you're ready to hear what comes next. But there is something that needs to be said now seriously, firmly, bluntly. Because all this Scorpio energy, this spiritual force that runs through you, this gift of seeing beyond, feeling beyond, transforming through pain, all of this has a counterpart, a silent warning which few have the courage to face but which needs to be brought to light. This energy can heal you, but it can also destroy you. Scorpio is a sign of extremes, and its children, or those who carry its vibration, live between the sky and the abyss. There is no middle ground for a Scorpio soul. Either she awakens and uses her strength to illuminate the world, or she loses herself in it and ends up being devoured by the very fire she carries. This is the part no one likes to hear, the part where it is understood that the gift, when poorly channeled, turns into poison. Edgar Cayce knew this. He didn't romanticize Scorpio energy. He revered her, yes, but he also warned her, because this force, when disconnected from its spiritual mission, turns against those who carry it. And that's when everything starts to fall apart. The relationships, the path, the projects, the clarity. The gift becomes a burden. Silence becomes self-sabotage. Intuition turns into paranoia. And the intensity, which used to be a portal, becomes a prison. Have you ever experienced moments when everything seemed to fall apart at once? When suddenly, friendships fall apart, situations get out of control, the body becomes sick, the mind becomes overwhelmed, and the soul becomes silent? Have you ever felt like you were spinning through a cycle of painful repetitions, where everything you touched seemed to slip out of your hands or turn against you? This is a classic sign of Scorpion energy in collapse, an energy that stopped flowing as a spiritual channel and began to stagnate, transforming into hurt, resentment, obsession. The Scorpio soul is too powerful to live on automatic. When she tries to fit into patterns that don't respect her nature, she implodes. She bleeds in silence. Because Scorpio doesn't know how to pretend that everything is fine, he even tries. But the body speaks, the mind accuses, and the spirit gives signs, dark dreams, strange synchronicities, a constant feeling of being out of place outside of oneself. It's as if something inside you screams, "Come back, return to what is true, return to your mission, return to your essence." Because if you don't come back, you'll sink yourself. And, no, this is not spiritual punishment. This is this energy's way of reminding you of who you are. Scorpio energy does not accept being ignored. She demands presence. Charge the truth, charge depth. And when you try to live as if you don't carry this seal, when you deny its intensity, when you pretend you don't feel what you feel, it begins to manifest itself in dark ways. It begins to hide in the corners of the mind, in emotional voids, in impulsive attitudes, in toxic attachments, in the need for control, in jealousy, in distrust, in cruel self-demand. And little by little, it moves you away from what is sacred. It's as if a greater force said, "You can't use this power against yourself." But unfortunately, when Scorpio disconnects from its mission, which is to transform with awareness, heal with presence, regenerate with humility, it turns into its own enemy. Cayce said that this is the sign that most has the potential for spiritual self-destruction, not because he wants to hurt himself, but because he doesn't know how to carry so much power without direction. And power without direction is like still water. It creates poison. How many times have you sabotaged yourself? Have you ever pushed someone you loved because you were afraid of being hurt first? Have you ever given up on a dream halfway through because the weight of expectation was unbearable? Have you ever suspected something good just because it was too good? This is not bad luck. This is Scorpio energy, asking for reintegration, asking for awareness, asking for truth. Because when this energy is aligned, you become practically unshakable. You access healing where others only see chaos. You understand time where others only see haste. You see others where others see threats. But for that to happen, it needs to be intact. You need to be awake. It needs to be connected with the reason why it carries this seal. And that's why I tell you now, don't underestimate your own energy. Don't play with what came from above. Don't minimize what, when used wisely, can take you places most people will never understand. But when misused, it can drag you into cycles of pain that are difficult to break out of. So if you are here, reading this, listening to this message, perhaps it is time to make a choice. A silent but powerful choice. Choose to return to your truth, choosing to respect your depth, choosing to carry your energy with spiritual responsibility. And if this makes sense to you, I want you to write in the comments now, with awareness, "I choose my awakening." Or, if you want to seal that choice as a firm declaration, write, "My energy will no longer be my poison." This is not just a comment, it's a vote, a key that opens the next portal of what is to come. Now that you understand the risk of carrying this energy without awareness, it's time to go even deeper, to look at everything you've experienced with different eyes, because perhaps what you called a wound was initiation. Maybe what you thought was punishment was just preparation. What if I told you that none of the pain you went through was in vain? None. Not even the one that tore you up inside. Not even the one you couldn't explain to anyone. Not even the one that silenced you for months. All of this was part of something much bigger than you imagined. The awakening of spiritual gifts that were dormant within you. Scorpio doesn't suffer for nothing. Scorpio suffers because it needs to be broken so that the soul can reveal itself in its entirety. Every loss, every humiliation, every disappointment was, in fact, a polishing process. As if the universe, with firm and mysterious hands, was carving something into you, not to destroy you, but to prepare you. And what few understand is that pain, when embraced with awareness, opens spiritual portals. It is not an end. She is a beginning in disguise. Have you ever noticed how, after your biggest falls, you were never the same? Again, as if behind the suffering, there was a deep realignment with your essence. This is not random. This is the Scorpio movement acting in your life. Scorpio dies and is reborn within the same body. He experiences small deaths throughout his existence, but with every emotional death, there is a spiritual rebirth. And this process, however painful it may be, reveals who you really are. You were not injured by chance. He was trained. It has been tested. You were challenged to find out how much your soul could take, not to break you, but to reveal you. And often this spiritual training happens in silence. No audience, no consolation, just you and your pain. But it is in this very place where most give up that you were forged. Not with easy promises, but with spiritual endurance, with emotional maturity, with a strength that no one taught you, but that was born with you. Maybe you never realized it, but everything that hurt you taught you, and everything he taught you transformed you. Every fall was a code, each abandonment an initiation, each rupture a chance to look deeper, because it is at the bottom of the well that Scorpio finds the sacred stone. It is in the dark night of the soul that he finds the light that does not come from outside, but from within. And here is the big revelation that many are not ready to hear. Your pain was part of your calling, because the world does not need master theorists. The world needs people who bled and survived, who felt everything and still chose to continue, who know the shadow but choose the light, who were discredited but did not abandon their faith, that, even though they are hurt, they can still heal. This is the true Scorpio mission. Awaken others through one's own survival. Show that it is possible to be reborn, that it is possible to transform mud into a flower, that it is possible to look back with honor, even with scars on your chest. Because the Seekas trials don't diminish you, they authenticate you. They prove that you were there, faced what many couldn't handle, and came out the other side more whole than you came in. Have you ever noticed that, after so much pain, you can perceive the pain of others more clearly, as if a supernatural empathy was developed, a silent radar that captures those who are also in the process of death and rebirth? This is part of the gift. Scorpio feels in others what they have already healed in themselves, and for that reason, he is a born healer. Not those who impose words, but those who listen with their soul, who see through the mask, who welcome what the world rejects. But all of this only happens when you accept your pain as your master, when you stop seeing suffering as a curse and start seeing it as a map, a sacred map which led you, step by step, to your true essence. And it is at this point in the journey that your light truly turns on. Not that artificial spiritual light of ready-made phrases and empty speeches, but a silent, dense, deep light, the light that comes from darkness faced head-on. If this text touched you on some level, if you felt that this message speaks to parts that you don't usually show, then write now in the comments, "My pain awakened me." Or if you prefer something even stronger, comment, "I was forged by the fall." These phrases are not just words, they are vibrational seals, marks left in the energy field that you recognize, accept, and honor your own path of pain as an essential part of your spiritual awakening. Because the next step, as you will see, depends on this acceptance. If you have come this far, if you have listened to every word until the end, if you have remained silent with your heart beating and your spirit vibrating with each sentence, then understand this clearly now. This message did not pass through you. It chose you. You were called. And even though your mind is still trying to understand why you were touched so deeply, your soul already knows. She recognizes it. She remembers. Because Scorpio souls, when they awaken, don't forget who they are. They had just hidden for too long. How many times have you felt like you didn't belong? How many times have you thought there was something wrong with you? When in fact, what was there was an indomitable, deep, transformative spiritual energy. This constant feeling of observing the world from the outside, of feeling too much, of understanding things that no one explained, of carrying secrets that not even you knew how to put into words. All of this was part of the code of your essence, and now that it has been deciphered, there is no turning back. You are no longer the same person you were when you started this video, and not because he heard something beautiful or mystical, but because deep down, you listened to yourself. He heard his soul scream through the silence. You recognized yourself, and when someone recognizes themselves, everything starts to change. The way you look at your story, the way you interpret your pain, the strength with which you face your cycles. Everything takes on a new form when you understand that what you carry is not a burden, it's a mission. Scorpio was spiritually designed to move where no one wants to move, to say what no one wants to say, to touch where it still hurts, to reveal what the world still insists on hiding. And if you carry this frequency within you, then you are chosen, not to live an easy life, but to live a meaningful life, a life where every step is a purification, where every crisis is an initiation, where every silence is a dialogue with something bigger. And yes, it is lonely sometimes. Sometimes it's heavy. Sometimes it seems unfair, but it's real. It's sacred, and it is necessary, because the world is full of distractions but lacking in depth. It's full of noise but lacking in truth. It is full of masks, but thirsty for authenticity. And that's why Scorpio souls are so precious, because they can't stand living in a lie. They'd rather lose everything than live a life without a soul. And maybe now you understand why everything seemed so difficult, why the falls were so deep, why the cycles broke so brutally, because it was all part of the process. A process that was preparing you for this moment, the moment of recognition, the moment to look in the mirror and say with spiritual courage, I am this energy. I accept my essence. I am ready to live my mission. And if you felt this, even for a second, then I want you to comment now, with intention, with truth, with soul. I accept my essence. These words are not just letters. They are a seal, a ritual, a confirmation to the universe that you have heard the call and are ready to respond. And if you feel like this message needs to reach someone else, someone who is going through confusion, pain, transition, or losing themselves, send this video. Because maybe like you, this person too, and you're carrying a Scorpio mission and don't know it yet. And if you want to intensify this connection even further, also comment, my soul is reborn today, because this could be the beginning of something great, of a new cycle, a new way of walking through the world, with more awareness, more firmly, with more power, the power of someone who no longer lives hidden from their own truth, but who chose to live up to what they carry. Because now, you know who you are, and that changes everything. If you've made it this far until the last second of this video, it's because this message touched something deep within you, and that already shows that you're ready to continue this journey of awakening, truth, and spiritual transformation. So now, do the following. Subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning. I will continue to reveal secrets, hidden codes, and spiritual truths that have been hidden for far too long, and you won't want to miss a thing. Leave your like right now, not just because you liked it, but because it helps this message reach other souls who, like you, are ready to remember who they are. And comment below, I woke up until the end. Only those who stayed this far will understand this phrase. It is a silent seal between us, a spiritual password to show that you are truly committed to your process. And look, on the left side of your screen, the next video of this spiritual journey is already appearing. It is there that I will continue to reveal to you mysteries, gifts, and activations that can change the way you live your mission in this world. Click there and follow me, because you're ready.